What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a very informative video for you guys. I don't usually do videos like this, but it's snowing and there's really nothing else I could do besides give you guys some good info for all my Mopars fans out there. There's a lot of you guys that have Hellcats and there's a lot of you guys that want to buy Hellcats, and I think this video is very important for you guys. Everybody is so obsessed with having 1,000 horsepower. It's like the benchmark of being a very, very fast car. And well, in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to make your Hellcat 1,000 horsepower for as cheap as possible. And when I say cheap, I mean affordable, not really cutting corners or taking shortcuts by any means. So I'm not trying to teach you how to blow up your car. I'm just showing you guys how to make your Hellcat 1,000 horsepower in the most affordable way possible. So first thing you got to do is buy the car. So you could either buy a Hellcat or you could buy a Red Eye. So the difference between those two are the Red Eye has a bigger supercharger than the Hellcat. The Red Eye has a 2.7 liter supercharger and the Hellcat has a 2.4. I think 2.4. Yeah, it is 2.4. I always get it mixed up. I always think it's 2.3, but it's 2.4. So Hellcat 2.4, Red Eye 2.7. And what that means is that the Red Eye blower can't handle as much boost as the Hellcat blower because it already makes more boost. So you don't have to throw more boost at it as if you would with the Hellcat, because obviously it's bigger and it comes with more boost. And that's very important to know because a lot of people tend to forget that and they put a super small pulley on their Red Eye and basically blow up the supercharger. I've done it myself 2 years ago with my Red Eye. I blew up the supercharger. It was all caught on video, and from then on I understood that I can't go super small with a pulley just because that blower isn't as strong as the Hellcat blower because it already makes more boost in it and you don't need to throw a lot of boost at it for it to make boost. It also has a dual pump, the Red Eye. So Red Eye has dual pumps, Hellcat has single pumps, which we'll come back to this and why the dual pumps are better than the single pumps. And also the Red Eye has more of a built motor than a regular Hellcat, so it's a stronger motor. Doesn't mean that it's never ever gonna blow up, but it's a little stronger than the Hellcat. Stronger drive shaft. I think the axles are stronger. There's a bunch of stronger features on the Red Eye than the Hellcat. I made a whole video pretty much breaking everything down. If you guys haven't watched that video, I'll put the link in the description. But now let's talk about how you can make your Hellcat 1,000 horsepower in the most affordable way possible. So obviously it's different for the Red Eye and it's different for the Hellcat. It's a little cheaper if you have a Red Eye, but obviously if you have a Red Eye, you're gonna spend more money on the Red Eye than the Hellcat because I think it's like a $10,000 difference between a Hellcat and a Red Eye. So anyways, let's talk about how you could just make a regular Hellcat 1,000 horsepower in the most affordable way. So first thing you gotta do is unlock your PCM because Dodge locks their PCM and they basically don't want you to tune it or anything like that, but you could still take it out, send it to HP tuners, and for 300 bucks, I may be wrong, it might be like 250 or 350, but somewhere around there, let's just say 300 bucks, they'll unlock your PCM and then you could put it back in and now your tuner is able to tune your car. But you can potentially, well, not potentially, you can lose your warranty if they know that you unlocked the PCM. So it's almost impossible for you to unlock the PCM and then lock it again and send it, like, or sell the car or whatever. If the dealer sees your car with an unlocked PCM, you're gonna lose your warranty unless you know the dealer or they're just not weirdos that care about that. Also, what you could do is just buy a whole separate unlocked PCM. So you'll have your locked PCM and then you'll have another one that's unlocked. You could put that in there and then keep your locked PCM in case you want to sell your car or you want to take it to the dealership and just basically keep your warranty. Obviously, the unlocked PCM is a lot more than 300 bucks. I think it's about $1,000. So yeah, it's a little more expensive, but if you want to keep your warranty, you'll just have to spend the money. So that is phase number one, unlock the PCM because your tuner can't tune it without that being unlocked. The second thing you will need is an upper pulley. So there are two pulleys. There's an upper pulley and there's a lower pulley. I wouldn't recommend doing a lower pulley unless you... We're getting a cold.
Hey, I'm filming a video right now. I'll call you back.
Anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about. So you would want to go with an upper pulley just because if you get a lower pulley, then that's pushing it way too hard, and I would recommend a built motor at that point. But anyways, so upper pulley, you go with Grip Tech. They are the best pulley company in my opinion. I've dealt with all the pulley companies, literally. I've owned probably like 4 Hellcats, and I've ran every single pulley company, and Griptech is the best out there because their pulley is made to prevent your belt from slipping. They're like little shark teeth that the belt rides on. It's super sick and awesome technology that they came up with. So Griptech is about 300 bucks, and you could choose any sizes you want. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have a red eye, then I wouldn't recommend going with a super small pulley. If you have a red eye, I would say go with a 285. If you have a regular Hellcat, then you could go with a 275. You could even go smaller, because obviously the 2.4 in the Hellcat can handle it more than the red eye. So it's up to you what size you want to go to. Obviously the smaller size, the more power you can make. And my phone is blowing up. So after you get your pulley, you will need a belt, because obviously now your pulley got a lot bigger than factory, and the belt that you had previously won't fit, and you would probably need a new one. Well, not probably, you do need a new one. And your belt will run you about 100 bucks if you want the green one. It's probably a little less than that, but I just rounded up to 100 bucks. So far you're in for 700 bucks. And now it's about to get, well, before it gets a little expensive, you'll need a 180 thermostat, which basically will help your car cool itself down. It will want to start cooling your car down earlier than it usually does. So I think it has a 202 thermostat in the car from factory. You will need a 180, which means the car will start cooling it down at 180 degrees instead of the 202. It won't let it get that high. So that will run you about 50 bucks. It could be a little cheaper, depends what brand you go with. So now it's when it's gonna start getting a little more pricier, especially if you have a Hellcat. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the Hellcat has a single pump, and the red eye has dual pumps. And well, if you have a Hellcat, you will most likely need a fuel system. They have a triple pump fuel system, and that will run you about $2,100 to $2,200. So it's really expensive. There's people out there that get away with just putting a booster pump on their Hellcat, and that will run you about $600. And the booster pump basically just boosts that one singular pump, and that's kind of like a band-aid. I wouldn't recommend anyone doing that. I would say definitely get a fuel system if you want to make some good power and also being safe. But if you have a red eye, you have the dual pumps, and with just a booster pump, it'll be more than enough to handle that power safely. I did it on my red eye, and I also know a lot of people that did it on their red eye. So if you have a red eye, a booster pump for $600 will be just fine. If you have a Hellcat, you will definitely need a fuel system. Also, another pricey thing you will need that has to do with fueling is injectors. So you could go with the FIC 1200s, and that will run you about, I think, $1,100 to $1,200. Or you could go with the IDs, and those are about $1,800. Those are 1,300 cc injectors. The FIC are 1,200 cc, and honestly, they're pretty much the same. The IDs is just a bigger name, and you're gonna spend a little more money on them. And you can ask any tuner out there, FICs are just fine. My red eye handled a lot of power on the FIC injectors, and we had more than enough, you know, left. So I would go with the FIC if I were you guys. So far we're in it for $1,200 on the FIC, $2,100 for the fuel system, and that's about $3,300. You got another $300 for the pulley. We're talking about $3,600 now. And then, no. So we're almost about $4,000. Actually, let me do some math. I think I'm messing it up over here. Okay. So $1,200 for injectors. Fuel system is $2,200. So we're at $2,400. No, $3,400. $300. So we're at $3,700. Yeah, we're at $4,100, okay? But we're almost there. So next thing on the list is an intake. And a lot of people kind of get carried away with this, okay? They go for the brand name intakes that make your Hellcat sound really loud. Yes, it will sound amazing. You'll hear the supercharger whining insanely. But a lot of those intakes don't cool anything down. They pretty much make your car run hotter. I would not go with any intake besides JLT. They got sold to SNB, so I don't think it's called a JLT anymore, but a JLT intake is what you will need, and that will run you about $450, let's just say, right around there. So we're at $4,500 so far. And then the final piece to tie all this together, final piece, is you will need a tune. And whoa, almost forgot one thing. You will need to cut your cats out because your Cadillac converters will definitely get clogged up with the E85 you will be running. And yeah, well, I don't know if I forgot to mention, you will need to run E85. So you need to cut your cats, and that shouldn't be that much, probably a couple $100 at your local exhaust shop. And yeah, you could get mid pipes if you want, whatever, that's all up to you. Or you could just kind of straight pipe that area where you cut your cats off. So if you know, obviously if you want to do it the most affordable way. So that, and then the final thing, like I said, is the tune. You will obviously need to tune for every single thing you just did. So tuning will run you about $700 to $1,500, depends on what tuner you go to. I personally went to Duster Hoff Tuning. He's out of, I think, Atlanta, and I think his was like $900 or $1,000, somewhere around there. And he is, in my opinion, the best Mopar tuner in the country. He did my TRX, my Challenger Red Eye, my Charger Red Eye, pretty much did every Hellcat I owned. So he is the man. So definitely hit him up if you want to get your car tuned. So altogether, we're at about $5,000. And to a lot of you guys, that might sound like a lot, but for 1,000 horsepower safely, that's not a lot. Like I said, the fuel system is the most expensive part. And if you buy a Red Eye, you won't have to do that fuel system. So if you have a Red Eye, it'll cost you closer to that $4 grand rather than the $5 grand. But that's just my 2 cents on how to build an affordable Hellcat. Obviously, can still go wrong. So anything you add to your car can potentially hurt your car. Your car was tested by the factory to run the factory horsepower that it came to the dealership with. Anything you add, there's a chance anything can go wrong. Obviously, you can go and build your motor and it'll handle more power, but even that, you could still potentially hurt something, maybe a transmission, maybe the supercharger, anything like that. Also, one thing I want to mention is porting your blower is the best and most efficient power gains you can get. And I think it's like $1,000. It could be a little less from Joker's Performance if you want to get your blower ported. I wouldn't do a ported blower on top of all of this just because it's a lot of boost, and I wouldn't do it on a stock motor. But if you want to substitute one of the parts for it, I don't know what you would substitute, but yeah, you wouldn't substitute anything actually. So yeah, I wouldn't run a ported blower on top of all this unless you're trying to blow your car up. There's a chance it won't blow up, but there's also a chance it will blow up. With a ported blower, you can gain about 70 to 80 wheel. Especially if you're on E85, you can gain up to 100 wheels. So having a ported blower will gain you a lot of power. You know, in my Charger Red Eye, all I had is a ported blower on 93, and I made 770 wheel. Literally gained 80 wheel horsepower while still being on 93. Obviously, you gain more power if you are on E85 than 93, but everybody already knows that. So anyways, that is all I got for you guys today. You know, that is how you could build a 1,000 horsepower Hellcat for just about 5,000 bucks. If you have a Red Eye, it's about 4,000. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. And I think building 1,000 horsepower is probably the cheapest if you have a Hellcat. That's an amazing and awesome platform to start with. I did it like 2 or 3 times. I built 1,000 horsepower Hellcat. Yeah, the last one wasn't 1,000, but the Challenger was 1,000, and my first Challenger was 1,000. And that's all I got for you guys today. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, smash that subscribe button. And we got more lit content coming your way, more on the GT500 build, and also we got more races coming. I'm scheduling a lot of those, and we also have one of the most sick and rare I don't want to tell you what it is, but vehicle I'm doing a review on very soon that you guys will absolutely love. So stay tuned for that. I know I talked a lot, but there's a lot of information here. And for those of you guys who are interested in that, hopefully that helped you guys in, you know, wanting to know. Well, I'm gonna just shut the fuck up. I'll talk to you guys later. I talked enough. Peace out. Love you guys.